Now, what would be misapplication of this principle of overload? What you're most often going to see is that people are under applying or underloading in hypertrophy. They're not doing enough volume to drive hypertrophic gains, or they're not training heavy enough to drive the strength gains in a general strength or peaking phase. So we want to make sure that we're training within those overloading parameters that I outlined for each phase, and that we're applying some common sense about it, because I gave you pretty big ranges, 55, 60% up to 75% for hypertrophy, but sets of 6 to 12 reps. Well, if all you're doing are 60% for sets of 6, you're going to have to do a really ton of sets to get enough of the quality work that we're doing if you're training at the low end of the reps and the low end of the intensity. So we're going to apply some common sense and know, well, if we're training at that lower intensity range, we probably need to be at the higher rep range, or vice versa. Same idea throughout all of those, and you're all smart enough to watch this YouTube channel, so you're probably smart enough to know that stuff without me even saying it. So then as we look at the other side of this, an over-application of the principle of overload. In under-application, we weren't training hard enough, we weren't training heavy enough or with enough volume. Now we're training with too much. We're doing excessive amounts of volume that are creating fatigue management issues for us, and not being able to recover, not being ready to handle the weights that we need. So if you're training, either too high of reps, too many sets at intensity ranges that aren't appropriate for the phase that you're in, or just too much volume that you're not able to effectively recover in between sessions, so you can't get the frequency of training you need to develop the technical qualities, or it's mismanaging the fitness fatigue relationship going into a powerlifting meet, those would all be over application of the principle of overload. So you're training too hard. I do see that sometimes with more beginner lifters, as they sort of let their own enthusiasm doom them in this process, and they just keep doing more and more because the training they're doing is not that hard, because they're not that strong yet, but they're unable to recover from it. So we don't want to under apply it or over apply the principle of overload.